How's it going, YouTubers? Into the Game Design here. I'm Colton Fleming, your host. I'm going to be doing this video instead of Miles today, just because he wanted me to do this video. So let's just jump right into it. First, we're going to just really quickly review on variables, and I'm just going to get this out of the way by commenting it out with 2 slashes. If you guys were wondering how to do a multi-line comment, you do a slash and then the multiply sign, then a multiplying sign slash, and then you can say blah 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 and blah blah, and it just everything in between there will be commented out. Anyways, that was just random fact example thing if you guys wanted to know. So, review on variables. There are a couple different kinds of variables. We have the Boolean, and the Boolean puts out true and false, if you remember from last tutorial. If you don't remember, here's the tutorial right here. Go check it out. So we have Boolean. That will put out 2 answers. It's going to be true or false. We have a float, but in order to explain a float, I need to show you guys an integer or an int. So there is Boolean, true or false. There's integer, int, which is 2, which would be like counting numbers, which just like this right here, that's 2. Then we have a float, and that's when you have decimals and it's getting carried out into the decimal places and everything. Basically the same thing, except it has decimals. And then our last one is going to be a string, and that can basically be thought of as hello world, you know, like the most basic code that you learn about. And basically make sure to put a semicolon. But yeah, this is just different kinds. Those are the 4 different kinds of variables. So now that we went over that, you will understand that this is the variable, this is the name, this is the equal sign, and it's equal to an integer, which is 2, finished with a semicolon after every single declaration. So var x, let's just say equals 5, semicolon. Okay, so you did the name of the variable, you said it was a variable, you did the name, then you did the constant, which was a 5, you did the integer, which was a 5. So then we have 2 sections here. We have function start and function update. Function update basically just keeps on updating every frame it looks for the code that you put in. Function start only the code only interacts with it for the first frame. So I'm gonna do function start. I'm gonna be in there working. I'm gonna quickly show you how to print something to the console, and I'm going to print the variable. Bear with me. I'm gonna print the variable x, which is going to print out the number 5 if it works. So we have an error somewhere. It's saying anyways. Let's see if it will work with us. So we're gonna throw you on here. Please fix the compiler errors. That means we have some compiling errors, and basically that just means that we need to fix what we have wrong here. So I just removed this right here, and that fixed the error. And so you just gotta find out what your error is. Now if I go back into Unity, and I have it on my main camera in the inspector, debug right here, and if I go to my console, clear it, hit play, it's going to print 5, which, if you go back over here, x is 5. Another way to do it is using the debug.log, which is just typed like this, and if we throw y in there, then what we got is y will be put into the console, and debug.log just basically is a debug check, and it basically does the same thing as print. So these are 2 ways to do that. Next, we are going to jump right into the most important part of this tutorial, and that is going to be if statements. So basically we're going to write if, and it's going to say if such and such equals this, then it's going to do this. So we're going to use our variable x. If x double equals 5, then what it's going to do, we're going to throw some brackets down really quickly and drop that in there. X equals 5. We're going to use our nifty little print thing that I showed you just before, and we're going to print a string that's going to be hello world. So if x equals 5, hello world, we gotta put a semicolon there. Everything, your variable declarations, everything, you gotta put a semicolon afterwards. So right here, we got brackets around it, brackets around this. Everything is neat and in order. We are just gonna save it, drop out of here, drop into Unity, and we are going to clear it on play. We're gonna hit play, and it's going to, let me clear it first. Okay, it's gonna clear on play, and then when we hit play, hello world drops right down into here. Going back, we have, I'm gonna change this to equal 4, and that is gonna give us the opportunity to go into else. So else is basically gonna say, if it doesn't do that, then what we're going to do is we're going to do something else. Doesn't that work? It works out perfectly. So then if it doesn't equal that, it's going to print something random like, I don't know, 5. So if it doesn't do that, make sure the semicolon's at the end. It's going to print something 5. Control S to save it. We're going to clear this. Then we're going to play it. And then we have 5 right down here because we said else. Then there's an else if. Else if is basically going to say, you know, after all these things are done, after all that happens, else if is, you know, just another opportunity, another variable. And if you guys are wondering how to do like tons of cases and scenarios and everything where you're saying this happens and this happens, we're going to get right into that soon after this. But anyways, else if basically does the same thing, but you know, you can have as far as my knowledge extends, you can have a couple of them. Now, since you understand if statements, else if, we're going to jump right down into our switch statement, which I have it commented out, but now I'm going to remove that comment and I'm going to explain all this to you. So instead of saying if, you know, we say switch. Alright, switch is basically going to say, okay, we're going to have a whole bunch of cases and everything, and whichever case turns out to be true, that's what it's going to print onto the screen or do whatever. When we're dealing with objects later on, it's going to do certain things when it equals this certain case. So you type y for your y, and if it equals case 2, if it equals 2, since it equals 2, it's going to equal case 2. So when we look at this, it's going to say hello. That's what it's going to say. So really quickly here, I'm just going to comment this out. And we don't want to comment everything out, but I'm going to comment that out, just that little section. So we won't be dealing with the function start. We're going to be dealing with the function update. And the difference between function start and function update, which we talked about in the last, hopefully last tutorial, was function start just starts. It's the first frame, it does whatever it needs to do, it's over. Whereas the code in function update, every frame it's looking for it, every frame. So if you have no breaking point, no stopping point, it's just going to keep on repeating. Right here, we don't. So now, the basic setup of this is we can set up cases, and each case has a different scenario. So if it's case 1, if y equals 1, we print Colton is cool. Semicolon after every single one of these, and you have to put break after every single one of these. Since it equals 2, it's going to print hello break. Okay. So default is just it's just default. If it doesn't equal anything, it's just something you can throw down there. That's what the default equals. So we're gonna hit that Control S again, and we're gonna drop right out of here. Basically, in your console, we must have some kind of error. So I didn't put a bracket here to connect to this top bracket. See, all these brackets have to connect, and a really nice way to help you out is to properly space these out so that they are kind of going underneath each one of these. So now that I have that bracket there, I saved it, we should be good. So now when we clear it, we play it, it's going to give us hello for infinity because we never have a stopping point. If you look over here, the number is going forever. Anyways, guys, that is your if, else statements, and switch statements. Just a quick review. Also, next episode, we're just going to quickly go over switch and show you everything about it. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great week. and I'll be seeing you guys next week, of course.